Hi everyone and welcome back to Chef Seats. Today we're going to be making another American classic, New England Clam Chowder. Personally, I really love this dish. Just with the balance of the seafood, the cream, and the bacon, it blows my mind away. And just like always, only thing we're going to need are a few simple ingredients. So, let's get started. Now to start this recipe, what I like to do is making a clam stock. And we're going to add 1 pound of clams, of very well washed clams to this pot, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of parsley, some white wine, and a little bit of water. Only thing we're going to need to do now is put a lid on it, let it boil, and come back in about 5 minutes. In the meantime, what I like to do is dicing our aromatics. First we're going to start with the carrot. So I'm going to cut the very bottom off to prevent it from folding back and forth and moving around, and just slice it up. After that, cut it lengthwise. There you are. I'll show you a little bit more. And now we're just going to start to dice them. So fold it around. Neat little trick on how to dice a carrot. There we are. Now don't worry about being too uniform, it's totally fine. After the carrot, let's cut our onion. Make sure that we're holding with the bottom palm part of our hand and slicing. Just be very careful when you're slicing like that. And fingers back, cutting it across. And what we're going to be doing is dicing this onion. There we are. It's actually quite simple, you see. Alright, now after the onion, let's get our celery and cut the celery in half and cut it in half lengthwise again. And if it's a little bit larger, you could cut it lengthwise like that and then once more in half. There you are. Just a nifty little trick on how to dice the celery. Now after we get our celery, what I like to do is jump it on our leeks, and I'm going to cut it in a slice in half, roll it halfway moon, and slice it again. And it's very important that after we dice these leeks, we rinse them very well. Okay, these are very, very dirty, so make sure you rinse them very well and strain them. Right after the leeks, let's just cut up a few pieces of garlic, slicing them away, fingers back. See how close we keep our fingers back? Be very careful. There we are. Now right after the garlic, let's cut the potato. Same thing, cut a very piece off the bottom so it can be a nice little base. You see? Watch this. See how it's going to stop it from rolling? It'll help you out a lot. And just slice it. This is pretty much going to be cut the same exact way as we cut the carrot. Chop that up. Then let's slice it lengthwise. Don't worry about cutting too uniform. It's okay. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure that you cut them. And now we follow with the dice. There we are. Now you know how to dice a potato. And last but by far not least, the rock star of this dish, the bacon. And as you can see with all these cuts, I cut them pretty uniform. I just like to, while I'm eating this dish, to have all even pieces. And I think it's more enjoyable. Just a personal thing, but don't hold yourself too hard on it. And in the amount of time that we finished doing all of our knife work, well, I think our clam stock should be done right now. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so all the clams are open, so only thing we need to do right now is strain this off. So we're going to strain this off, and I have a mixing bowl with a coffee filter right on top, just because I want to get it really, really clean and strained out really nicely. And if you don't have a proper strainer, just use coffee filters. It works perfectly fine. So set that aside, and in a clean pot, let's start making the chowder. Of course, at first we're going to start rendering out the bacon, and we're just going to cook this bacon until it's crispy, and then we're going to remove it out of the pan. All that bacon fat is just going to infuse into this dish. It's just going to be so wonderful. So as you can see right here, the bacon's getting nice and crispy, and let's take it out and we'll reserve it for garnish. In the meantime, let's start cooking our vegetables. Onions, carrot, leeks, celery, potatoes, garlic, all on in. There we are. And at this point, at the beginning of the cooking process, I like to season it with salt and pepper at the very beginning, quite aggressively. And later on at the end, you could taste and adjust the seasoning if need be. So right now, we're going to cook this for about 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah, so about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how high your heat is, but mine's cooking on a medium-high heat. So when your vegetables start to get nice and soft and a little tender, I'll show you just like this. You see how it's starting to like come alive and get really nice and moist? See, I would like to have my vegetables nice and flavorful where I could cook them and eat them right now just like this. There we are. So they're still tender, still pretty tender. So let's add the clam stock that we made before, which was strained, and our heavy cream. At this point, what we need to do is just give it a really, really nice mix, and we're gonna bring this up to a pretty strong simmer, and we're gonna cook it for about 30 minutes. And all those aromatics are gonna add so much flavor to this dish. There you go. Let this reduce down, and in the meantime, what I like to do is start picking our clams. So right here, just take the clams out, and you could discard the shell with some of them, but if you want to save some for garnish, clams in the shell, that's totally fine. Do that. One clam after another, one clam after another. And you know what? Go ahead and try one while you're doing it. Make sure that you know that they're yummy. There we are. So now this chowder has been reducing for about good 35 minutes now. And you can allow it to reduce a little bit more if you prefer yours super thick, but personally at this point I think it's a really good time for myself to add those clams back into the dish. And here's a little secret weapon again. Chopped clams and clam juice. Yes, I did it. Bought this at the store for $3. It adds so much additional flavor. You know what? It's going to be worth it. So, see how it's nice and thick? We're reheating the clams back into this. Take a taste of it, and you know what? It's time for us to plate this up. So let's just get a little bowl and start placing our New England clam chowder right on into the middle of that dish. There we are. Oh, look at that. All that flavor is adding up. Oh man, look at all those aromatics. It's so chunky and flavorful too, with all that clam in it. And what we could do is add a little bit of thyme and a little bit of julienne parsley. Makes it really nice and yummy on top of that. And what we're going to do is garnish with some of that bacon again. Oh yeah, a little bit more bacon never hurt somebody, right? And here are the clams that we saved. We kept a few of them in a shell, just for a really nice garnish. And you know what? We're going to garnish it with some salt breadsticks. Oh yeah, nice and yummy. Well folks, I'm really excited to share with you my New England clam chowder, another American classic. Here's the recipe as followed, and I'm really excited to hear all the feedback and how yours turned out. Let me know if you have a different type of recipe. I'm excited to hear. Once again, thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.